And what happened next?
We talked a little bit, and then I gave him medication to help him sleep.
Okay. When you put the IV in his arm?
No, the IV was placed on this particular night. The IV was placed on his right or his left, either his right or his left leg, but below the knee.
Somewhere in this area, in the calf area?
No, high, superior, closer to the knee.
Just below either the right or left. You don't remember which. Okay.
Towards the back?
Towards the back of the leg? Wherever there was a more prominent vein.
Okay. And then I think you said you gave him a sedative?
Yes.
What did you give him?
He took a Valium, which is that he had, which was one pill, 10 milligrams orally.
Do you know what the Valium? Do you know exactly what it was?
Valium, what the dose?
10 milligrams.
10 milligrams,
Okay.
one tablet.
Anything else?
That's what he took orally. And then he sat there. The effects of Valium are delayed; it doesn't come up immediately. And he needed to sleep, so then I gave him additional medications safely, which was the IV form of lorazepam.
Lorazepam?
Lorazepam. Lorazepam.
EPEM?
Lorazepam. Lorazepam.
Is that measured in milliliters?
Milligrams.
Milligrams
per ml.
Do you remember how much you gave?
Yes. The concentration that it came in was 4 milligrams per ml in the vial, and the vial then carries 10 cc. So I gave him half a milligram, the equivalent to 2 milligrams total, and I diluted that up with normal saline.
Okay, so the total after you diluted was about half a milligram. Is that correct?
2 milligrams.
Oh, 2 milligrams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I only took half a milligram, half a cc, and each cc carries 4 milligrams.
Oh, okay. So 2 milligrams after dilution.
And was that put into his drip, his IV,
No,
or was it another site?
That was pushed slowly.
I'm sorry?
It was IV pushed slowly.
Okay, into his IV drip already.
No, the IV drip was with the saline, normal saline for hydration, and lower down on the cord there is a port that I can inject in the needle. So I would turn off the IV at that time, and then I would slowly infuse the medication over about 2 to 3 minutes. And once that was safely infused, then I would uncap the line, and then just have the IV continue to drip.
Okay. So obviously that was done with a syringe.
Yes.
Slowly.
Yes.
Okay, and what happened next?
Well, I watched him, I observed him, and he continued to be awake for more than an hour.
Any additional medications?
Well, I watched him because I want to be cautious. So I watched him long enough to see if there is an effect of drowsiness if he starts to sleep. And after an hour or so of watching him, he was still wide awake, no change. He continued to complain about he cannot sleep. And so after an hour I decided, well, okay, I'm going to give him a different agent because he's wide awake, and after an hour the full effects of the medication by this time is seen. So I give him something called midazolam.
How do we spell that, doctor?
M-I-D-A-Z-O-L-A-M. M-I-D-A-Z-O-L-A-M.
It has a product name.
Versad.
Versad.
Yeah, V-E-R-S-E-D. V-E-R-S-E-D.
S-E-D or
S-E-D.
S-E-D.
Versad, yeah.
Is one and the same?
No,
Prednisone?
no, but yeah, of course, they were the same product.
Okay. And how much of that did you give him?
I gave him 2 milligrams,
And this is injected also?
injected slowly.
Can you give us a time frame, Doc?
Roughly after an hour of wait for the effect of the IV lorazepam.
So lorazepam was given at what time?
Well, after he got to bed, I placed his lotion on. He had his pajamas, and I'd have to have in the shower. I would say, and I'm guessing, around 2 o'clock.
So an hour after that.
An hour after that, which was the Versa.
So about 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that work out?
I waited again, and it couldn't work. He was wide awake. I said, do you feel a little bit drowsy? Do you think your eyes are telling you want to sleep? He said, no. I said, how about if you try to meditate? Let's change the lighting of the room. Let's lower the music that he likes to sleep with, which is loud. Maybe rub your feet. And try to relax. Try to meditate. He did that reluctantly. And his eyes closed. I was grateful for that. So I watched him for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Do you know what time it was when he kind of finally drifted off?
After I gave him the medication, about another 15-20 minutes during my waiting period, I would say.
So approximately 3:20, 3:30 in the morning now, or? I'm judging that after you give him the Versat.
Yeah, well, if I give him about 3 o'clock, anyway, from about 3:15, 3:20 or so, this would be reasonable time. That's what I would guesstimate. I'm not watching my watch.
Sure,
You know?
naturally.
Yeah. And talking to him about meditating during that time and trying to relax himself and trying to sleep naturally, I also incorporated that during those 20 minutes or so, from 3 o'clock to the time. And then his eyes closed and he fell asleep. That I timed because that was really great. And as I looked at my watch and I kept looking at him, within 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes, just jumped right back up.
Woke up again.
Wide awake.
So he fell asleep for about 10, 15 minutes.
You know? And he said, wow, he said, after he asked me to meditate, I never thought it would work, but I guess I slept a little bit, didn't I? I said, you did. So let's keep trying that. And we tried. And 4 o'clock came. And 4 o'clock went. And he was still awake. It was 4:30 in the morning. And he was wide awake. And then he complained. I got to sleep, Dr. Conrad. I have these rehearsals to perform. I must be ready for the show in England. Tomorrow I will have to cancel my performance. I have to cancel my trip because I cannot function if I don't get the sleep. I said, but I want you to try. Just try, So just to close your eyes, just start working again. He tried to close his eyes and nothing would work. Just moving his feet, moving in bed, complaining about how I just can't sleep. The medicine doesn't work. So then I looked at my watch and I realized, well, since I gave him the Ativan, the lorazepam, earlier, which was about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what it's then. And now we past 4:30, heading into 5 o'clock. He's gotten a second agent. And I decided, well, with was relatively reasonable to give an additional amount of the lorazepam,
Okay, so
the Ativan. So I gave him another 2 milligrams, slowly, after about 2.5 hours.
Okay, and this is an additional 2 milligrams?
Yes, not of the Versed, of the lorazepam.
Lorazepam?
Yeah. It was the first agent I gave at 2 o'clock. The other name for lorazepam is Ativan, A-T-I-V-A-N, if it might help you. A-T-I-V-A-N.
Okay. Then, I'm sorry, what time was this now when you...
We were close to 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay.
It was past 4:30 when I, and he was wide awake.
did that help him relax? And
No. At that time he complained that he couldn't perform, he'd have to cancel rehearsals again, and put his show behind, and he would not satisfy his fans if he was arrested well, and all of those things. So there was a lot of pressure placed on me there. And I told him, I said, if I got the medicine that I give you, I'll be sleeping until tomorrow evening. A normal person. You are not normal. I told him that. And then I waited and waited again. Daylight came upon us. Mr. Jackson is still awake, still talking.
6:30 now?
Oh yes, still asleep. 7:30. Mr. Jackson, still wide awake. At that time, I gave him another 2 milligrams of the Versed, not lorazepam.
Okay, now you 2 milligrams, I'm sorry, of what?
Of Versed, V-E-R-S-E-D.
did you do it the same way, where you diluted it?
Yes, and then slowly infuse. Okay. Versed is the same as, again, midazolam. Okay, M-I-D-A-Z-O-L-A. We had it before. I have not changed medication.
Okay.
So between the hours of the first dose of Versed, which was about something like 4 o'clock, I think, in the morning, just
About 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. And then there it was past 7:30, and no effect. That's when I gave him the other dose, hoping that he would get some sleep. And it did not work.
Still no effect.
No effect. I then cautiously checked the IV site. I checked the site of infusion on his body to make sure the IV was flowing into him and it was not wetting the bed sheets. So I mean, where is this medicine going? Why is this man not responding?
He's awake.
Wide
Still
awake.
awake.
Wide awake.
He still hasn't urinated, nothing.
He urinated then. I made him stand and had him urinate, and I filled he had the bag on him, and that was filled, and I emptied that, and then I filled another portable jug, which he placed another 600-700 cc's in of urine, so he urinated. Yeah. Oh yeah, he doesn't, because he's getting the IV fluid, which is also hydrating him.
Now we're beyond 7:30. You've administered 2 more milligrams of the Versed.
Yeah.
There was still no effect.
No effect.
And later now, what happens next?
No, we're beyond 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And nothing has worked.
But between the 7:30 and the 10, you're just watching him and telling him to meditate.
Oh, trying.
Try.
trying.